Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens one on Instagram, and this
Oh, Eagle, you there? Coming Eagle, coming Eagle. Kyle to Eagle. Kyle to
believe I
Eagle.
did that twice in a row.
All right.
Well, let's try this again. Let's try this one more time. Hello, I'm
All right.
Eagle Gardens one on Instagram, and this is take two, fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 451. Holy cow, I can't believe I fucked this one all up already.
My camera.
Hopefully, you guys having a great day. I know I have up until this fun start of this episode. I have plant-based or Massey. Kyle, as you see him on your screen. How you doing, my friend? You want to tell everybody where you they can find you and how you're doing, my friend?
Yeah, I've been planning to put a website together, a YouTube together for fucking 7 years probably. Haven't done shit yet. My fucking life's fucked up. But you can just find me on Instagram. That's it. My new name is plant_based 978. Yeah, it just got deleted like a couple days ago, so I had to switch it up a little. They finally got me. I had 42. Someone reported me 42 times in 2021 or some shit like that. So we back.
Right. No, at least you didn't give up, my friend. At least you didn't give up, man. There is some very nasty people there, in that can be heavy on that report button, and it's sad. It doesn't just set you back. You know what I mean? It doesn't just set you back. It's telling Instagram in general that they don't want to see cannabis stuff. So even
Yeah,
though it's
yeah,
you, it affects us all. You know what I mean? And sad.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep, somebody was after me. You know, I got a feeling I know kind of the crowd that's been trying to get me deleted for a while, but they finally succeeded. But I'm not going away. You know what I mean? You spread the truth about some of these breeders for the last few years, and they don't like that. It fucks with their money. But we won't give those guys the
I appreciate
limelight right now.
John and Jack throwing out your Instagram out there to help people find you. Appreciate
Oh,
that big time.
yeah, my buddy Breeders Direct Seed Co. made like a little post. They're a really nice seed bank. They got some good shit. They made a little post the other day. Yeah, that helped a little. But you know
So
what? It's actually
what you
this is
smoking
like
on?
my this is like my sixth account probably. You know, starting over. But I was actually gonna start over soon on Instagram anyway. Every like year and a half or 2 years, I like to just disappear and then start over because if I just let my shit keep going for like 2 years, I end up with like 1,000 people following me that just want to, promote this and all this shit. Like people that aren't, that I don't want to see anything that they post. Like I want to follow the people that I'm interested in, and I want the people that follow me to just be interested in weed. You know what I mean? None of this
That's
other
the way your feed
bullshit.
should be.
Yeah, there's so much bullshit on fucking Instagram, and it's just ridiculous.
I wanted to fucking real quick give a shout out to and not even a shout out, a big heartfelt I'm sorry to Morningstar Seeds. Passed away today. He was
What?
supposed to be on the show last week, and
Oh
something
my god.
happened, and obviously he was something wrong. So
Yeah,
man,
yeah. I knew
that
that
sucks,
guy.
man. We have
I talked
lost
to that guy a
lots,
lot.
a lot of great people in the cannabis industry this
Mm.
last few years.
Yeah, Morningstar was one of like probably the 3 best autoflower breeders that did regulars. I grew a couple of their strains. They were nice. They were big. He had some big stuff. That's fucked up.
They are having a fundraiser for his tour, and if you guys are interested, go ahead and look them up on the Instagram, and they do have a fun setup for him. So, man, it's sad. It's really sad. But
That's crazy.
so did we figure out? Did you tell me what you were smoking on? I think I asked you, and I fell out there.
No, tonight mostly all day. I've been smoking the Pakistani Chitral Kush. This is from a fem seed. I just harvested it maybe like 2 weeks ago. So it's still early, but I'm very pleased with the effect. It's a fem seed from the guy who originally released it, Cannabiogen. Cannabiogen originally released it. He gave stock to Ace Seeds, CSI, Humboldt. They all their PCK comes from Cannabiogen. He's like a real OG from overseas. That's where this one comes from. This is a fem seed though, so it's not like it's a little bit altered, but nice even effect.
So we might as
What are
well
you
get
smoking,
this
Eagle?
going like we always do, right from the beginning. When in
Oh, it froze up, Eagle.
Man, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's me, but I have a terrible delay, and I don't mean to keep cutting in on you.
Yeah, you keep freezing on me a little. Oh, we lost audio.
That time it wasn't me. That time it was the internet. The one thing I didn't go over with you. But I'm
Shit.
completely sorry, my friend.
Yeah, I just see a black screen, but I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you, but the
Please
screen's
forgive
black.
me. Hello?
Like
Can you
this
hear
video.
me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. My internet dropped there for a second, and my bad. So let's start this from the beginning, where we usually do. When did cannabis enter your life, my friend? When was the first time you smoked? If you don't mind telling me.
Yeah, the first time I tried it, I was like 11. It was behind a Catholic school. I kind of stayed away from it when I was a little younger than that because, I grew up hearing that it would do all these terrible things in school and shit like that. You know, the whole shit that the Reagan started. But my biggest concern was it affecting me in sports. I was obsessed with basketball, and this one time, this older kid was at the park. He was probably like 14, and he couldn't keep up with me, and I was like 10 years old. So I just smoked him on the court. And my dad told me, he said that kid smokes weed all the time. He doesn't go to school. So I thought that weed fucked up your lungs and made you slow. So I was like, I don't want that. Like, I'm a little tiny white kid, and I'm thinking I'm going to be in the NBA someday. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I was older that you realize that, lucky to make it to college. So yeah, I stayed away from it. I had smoked a couple times behind the school when I was 11 with my buddy. He was like the only kid that was smoking a lot of weed then. This was down in Massachusetts. I'm from Massachusetts. Can't tell from my accent. So it's probably when I was about 13, when I started high school, that I was like, all right.
A lot of great folks over there from Massachusetts.
Let's smoke some weed now. Yeah. Yeah. Got a nice, small, long time weed scene here. A lot of people who love weed here. Oh, so let me think. I was 13 when I was like, all right, I'm gonna find me some weed now. Like, I'm gonna go out of my way on my own to find some reefer. Let me think. It's probably a month or so into high school. So I stayed away from the shit basically up until high school. And then I get into a high school with kids from all these different towns. And as soon as I'm there, I kind of felt like I'm free now. Like, I can kind of do whatever I want. There's all these different kids from different towns all went to this high school. So I was seeking out a bunch of different drugs, but nothing crazy, like shit that kids start with, a pill here, ecstasy here, weed or something like that. So I was kind of getting into all of it at the same time. So I met this kid in the bathroom. I think he gave me like a nickel bag. I went home. I took some computer paper, some thick ass computer paper. I broke the whole thing up, rolled it up, went up into the woods at night, smoked the whole thing. And then I went inside. I'm watching TV, and I'm not knowing what's gonna happen. I'm thinking like my TV's gonna like start walking around my house, like crazy shit's gonna start happening. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. I literally got high for like 2 minutes, and then that was it. But during those 2 minutes, my fucking hands just all by themselves started coming off the chair. Like coming off the arms of the armchair, just lifting up. And I'm looking at my arms like, what the fuck is happening? And I remembered that lyric from, this was crazy. I remembered that lyric from the Pink Floyd song, was it Comfortably Numb? When he says like, my hands felt just like two balloons. And I was like, I fucking get it. Like, it's all happened in like 2 minutes. And I was like, my hands are balloons. And then I couldn't like talk. I was trying to like talk about the TV, and I was like, "This is a TV fucking set the box." Like, I couldn't even speak. This all happened real quick, and then the high went away. So I was left with like really confused. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, weed ain't shit. Like, what are all these people doing? Like, they're all just going around like mumbling. So I was completely wrong, obviously. So it was probably maybe 6 months later that I finally got like the real download from weed, and it was definitely like an instant addiction. Like, holy fuck, like, what have I found? Like, this is some kind of secret. This is like a holy grail, like a secret key type shit. So this was all Mexican bag seed that we were smoking back then. So I met this kid behind the ice cream parlor, which was like down the street from our high school. And I remember he was telling me it was like high grade or something like that. He's like, this ain't the Mersh, this is the high grade. But it all looked like fucking brown. And I remember when he pulled it off the brick, the seeds just plinking all over like the back of his bed. I still remember that. So I rolled that whole thing up. I think I smoked that one in like a Blockbuster Video, like receipt or some shit. I was doing, stupid stuff back then. So I think I smoked it in like a Blockbuster Video receipt. I remember sitting in my older friend's car, because I was like still maybe a year and a half, 2 years away from driving or something like that. So I'm sitting in his car, and I start getting like wicked cartoony. Like everything is like a fucking cartoon. And I couldn't even like hold my head up. I put my head down like on the side of like the window down. And I'm just staring at my face in the fucking rearview mirror. And it looks like I'm in some kind of crazy fucking like Wile E. Coyote cartoon. Like the background, I see the moon and the trees and shit's like I'm fucking like running down a tunnel. My mind was fucking blown. Like instantly when that happened, like I remembered everything about drugs. I remember hearing everything from my dad, from my teachers. I went to Catholic school for fucking 12 years. So I'm hearing all these fucking Catholic teachers, nuns. I had so many fucking nuns, right? They're all telling me how terrible and it's the devil, right? I'm hearing it's the devil. It's the devil. You won't go to heaven. You won't go to fucking heaven. So when you're little, like that shit is like the biggest weight fucking ever. All of that, when I'm into this cartoon land, instantly like cracked. Like I fucking cracked the matrix, right? Now, that led me to some weird thoughts, like after the high came down, because I'm fucking thinking, oh shit, what about God? These nuns been telling me, you better pray, you better do all this shit. So I'm starting to think now that God's not real. And that's where the thought like seeped in my mind. And literally like within like a year of that, I was like completely atheist, like completely fucking no more church, no more God, no more fucking nothing. So I didn't believe in shit at that point. I didn't believe in nothing. It was when I was older, I started to believe in like a soul type thing. You know what I mean? But not fucking that some guy invented all this shit, like sitting around like fucking Harry Potter, like bling, 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 6th day, 7th day. Like I didn't, yeah, all that shit was gone. And it was a relief. It was a relief and like a bit worrisome, because you're thinking all these years that you're going to go to heaven, right? You're going to go to heaven when you die. You're going to go to heaven when you die. You're thinking all this shit. I'm going to see my grandfather. I'm going to see all these things. So it was a little bit heavy to take. So the weed definitely like really fucking cracked me to another reality. But I was addicted. I was fucking addicted. I loved it. I couldn't believe it, that there was this place. If you just smoke this stuff, you just go to this other fucking world. Like I couldn't believe it. So that's how I fell in love with the weed, bro.
That's one of my favorite fucking first time stories so far. Yeah, this with you. I was writing in chat. I am digging this fucking story.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say like they don't want to hear like these first time stories and shit, but I personally fucking love them. I love to hear people's stories. So that's my story.
I do too, man. That's why I do this. That's why I do this, brother. I love hearing everybody's story. So, I mean, that must have been one fucking good ass joint to undo all, the Catholic school and all that. I don't know. It must have been a bridge ready to break, I guess. I don't know. It must have been one.
Yeah, tell you the truth. I miss that fucking weed. I miss that weed. Because even though it was covered in fucking seeds, it was probably like 4% THC. It had been smushed into a fucking brick, like compressed. Like it was probably like 6 months old when I smoked it. There's two ideas here. There's one idea that I do miss the weed, because part of me feels like that, if I had that weed back, I would go back to that cartoon world. I would get the giggles like how much weed makes you fucking like laugh and piss your pants like when you're little? Like not that much stuff anymore, like honestly. But another part of me really believes that if I had that same weed right now, that it wouldn't even come close to the effect that it did on my like young teenage mind, like back then. Like I honestly believe it wouldn't work the same.
You know, I wonder about that very often because I've only had one strain in my whole life that's hit me like that. Mid high school, I could say about junior
Yeah.
year, somewhere around there. Had a buddy of mine, Wavis, fucking had this fucking amazing fucking pine bud. And you could
Yeah.
smoke that. I mean, and I was a fucking smoker back then. You know what I mean? This was no first time me bullshit back, time this shit hit my hand. I was a
Yeah.
full-fledged fucking stoner already, I guess, if you will. I was well on my cannabis path. And this shit, man, you can smoke one joint and with fucking six people, and your face, your gut and shit would hurt, man. And that to me, that's if I could get that one, oof, I don't know, man. I think that would might be my my strain there for life. I don't, that such good times, man. I would love that shit. And everybody needs that kind of break today. You know what I mean? Who doesn't need, fucking, I need a belly laugh as deep as I can fucking get it from a nice joint. That'd be fucking
It's like
amazing.
those shroom laughs. It sounds like shroom laughs.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
stop.
Just
That
like
hasn't
that.
happened to me in a
Just like
long
that,
ass
but
time.
from cannabis.
Yeah, that shit hasn't happened
So
in a
do you
long
think
ass.
that's from, a younger mind? As we get
100%.
older, we kind of lose a little bit of our imagination, our
Yep.
creativity. So you think that's it?
It's that, and the older you get each day, just think about just this one idea. Each day, say you've lived 10,000 days, another guy's lived 20,000. Just living those days, your mind is put through the roller coaster, the fucking treadmill of life. And each day, more shit sticks to you. So you got somebody that's 14 or 15, even 18 or something like that. As long as the 18-year-old isn't going through like a breakup or someone just died or some shit, because if you smoke during those times, a lot of times your anxiety and shit gets like way fucking worse. That's what happens to a lot of people when they start to become an adult, maybe like 25, 27. You'll hear them say, "Oh, I don't smoke weed anymore." Suddenly one day, it just gives me anxiety, gives me a panic attack. It's not that you're just older; it's that you've got all these responsibilities. So I think it ties into responsibility and just going through a much larger amount of life experience versus someone that's like a teenager or that's just starting to drive or something like that. So that's why I'm saying that weed definitely might make me feel good, might make things a little brighter, like it did back then. Because that was another effect that the Mexican always did. I would smoke that shit and just go to the mall. Like I would cut school and just go to the fucking mall and just go up escalators and look at everything in the whole mall was brighter. That's an effect. Like you don't hear that too much when people describe like effects these days. Like it's all like, oh, it tastes like fucking cookies. You don't hear it gives you closed eye visuals. Like you smoke this shit, you close your eyes and geometric patterns and shit are just morphing and spinning and like shit you see when you're on a mushroom trip. I used to see that stuff every single time I smoked weed between like 96 and like 2003. Every single time I smoked weed, I would smoke, close my eyes, and see the craziest fucking shit ever. Especially listening to music. You're at a concert or you're laying in your bed playing like playing some music, some music you like, I would see crazy shit, like full fucking closed eye visuals, like every single time I smoked. Shit was brighter. A lot of the weed you get back then had no name, but it would make shit brighter. Like, kid, your friend's got an orange shirt. You look across the room, you're like, what the fuck? Your shirt is so fucking orange. Like, shit like that. Weed barely does that now. The only weed that I've smoked in the last, 10 years maybe, that's done something like that is, certain sour diesels and shit with, a real, sativa in it. Because the Mexicans they were all sativas. The Mexicans were all fucking sativa type of high. Like, you barely ever would get, Mexi filled with bricks that would, my body's fucking heavy, I can't move. You know what I mean? So I think it's the sativa shit that mostly that impacts something in your mind that makes shit appear brighter. So the last stuff I had that did that was some kind of a Nigerian haze cross. That shit definitely did it, and it impacts your hearing too. This one time I smoked this shit. It's called 3D from the Swamp Boys. I think it's a Nigerian haze. And my fan was on, right next to me. So I'm sitting there and the fan's on. And I get up, I smoke the weed, I sit back down. It's probably 5 years ago. Sit back down. And once the weed's kicking in, all of a sudden I hear this noise over my house, right over my fucking house. I'm fucking freaking out. I'm I yell across the room, wicked, way overly loud to my wife who's in the kitchen. I yell, why is there a helicopter over our fucking house? And she looks at me what the fuck are you talking about? And it was just the sound of the fan that was right next to me that had been on all day. But now I'm hearing it I'm feeling the vibration. I'm thinking of fucking helicopters right over my house. And that same weed, every time I smoked it, when I would smoke a lot, I would always see someone behind a wall. So I'd be in my kitchen, I'm hanging out in my kitchen, just sitting there, see some shadow or some shit, or a fucking little head poking out. And it's always your mind always imagines some creepy fucking some creepy shit. It's not fucking Chuck E. Cheese, hey buddy. It's scary shit. You know what I mean? So that's why I love the sativas. Everything today is fucking indica dominant. Yeah, the indica dominant shit don't do none of that.
I think it's greed that brings. Well, I enjoy the sativa high. I love that fucking crazy heady shit too myself, man. Every time you see that Reefer Madness video, that was supposed to deter. I was like, I want some of that shit. I'll take some of that Reefer Madness bullshit, but I don't have the time, man. The fucking it takes so long to grow a nice sativa like that. It does, and that's the bummer. I think that's why they breed so much indica into shit these days. Is a slight bit of greed. They want to try to get the best of both worlds, and it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I used to buy I don't buy weed barely anymore, since probably, well, I went on and off for a long time, buying weed. But there's not too much sativa shit out there on the street, Maybe more out west, I don't know, where you can grow shit outside or in a greenhouse. But my climate here, my outdoor climate I have a feeling it's similar to Michigan over here in Massachusetts. It's fucking unpredictable as anything. And just this year alone, we got hottest June of all time. followed by the wettest July of all time. Like, you don't know what the fuck's going to happen any year. You can't finish anything. Like, we had multiple nights, like in the 30s in like early September or some shit last year. And by the end of September, you got a bunch of nights in the 30s. Once October hits, last year was weird because last year, the first like 2 weeks of October was warm. It was like 60s or something like that. But the year before, October like 3rd, 4th, and 5th are like 27. Like boom, boom, boom. Like 3 nights in a row. Don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Yeah. I don't know why I'm talking about humidity. But
It doesn't matter what the path takes, my friend, as long as we get there. So, yeah, the region does really. So, do you grow outdoors? I mean, you indoors, outdoors, a little bit of both.
Yeah, where I'm at now, I've been at this location that I'm at since like 2012, but for the first few years I was here, I wasn't growing here. When I started back up again, I started outside, and I just did a couple like tester plants out there, you know, either seeds that I found and like bud or something like that, because I wasn't, at that time I didn't even have like any seeds. I used to have seeds, but I had a big house fire in 2009. I lost like all my fucking shit. I even had like a little like this little plastic like case with all these tiny little like pull out drawers. You could keep like cards, like baseball card size, like in them. And in one of them, I had like a sack pulled tight, like a lunch bag of all the seeds like I'd found in like a dank bag of weed between maybe like 99 and like 2006 or something like that. But yeah, in 09, the fire happened. I lost that whole fucking bag because I actually went back like into the house, like after the fire was out, like the next, no, it wasn't the next day. It must have been a couple days later when they were like, yeah, like you can go back in and like look around and shit like that. Well, they had it all boarded up, but you could like go in. It was safe. The fire department or whoever the fuck comes and looks at fires and shit was like, yeah, it's safe enough to like walk around without the house like collapsing. So you can go back and get a couple things basically. So I went down into our basement where like my storage shit was, and I looked for those seeds, and the whole plastic thing was like melted to like a 72 key like keyboard thing. Like they were fucking like melted together. So I knew my shit was gone. But yeah, I stopped talking about that. So I was talking about, yeah, my seeds. So I wasn't even collecting seeds when I restarted growing here where I'm at. So I just threw some plants outside. That was probably like 2016 maybe. So it was like 4 years after I'd been living here. And a big reason why I wasn't growing it when I first moved in, because we were like trying to have a family at that time. I was finally like settling down. It was like 2012. Yeah, 2012-ish. So ended up having a baby in like 2014. And then my wife didn't want me like growing weed in the house. So it took a couple years to convince her to let me grow the green stuff again. And how I was able to actually do that was because I had gotten my medical card when our state like started opening dispensaries, maybe like 2015 or 16 or something like that. I had my card for like 2 years. So I was spending a lot of fucking money on weed. I would get some extra money here, and I'm instantly thinking like, oh shit, what can I go try? Because this was like a dream. This kind of shit, dispensary stuff, to like someone like me who's, you know, a little bit older in Massachusetts. This shit was like something I saw on the news when I was in the 8th grade about California. Like, can you believe this? California will let people go into this place, and it's like a fucking candy shop. You can just pick out all these different strains. And that was like a dream when I saw that. That was like, that would be the ultimate dream. So when our state finally did that shit, like 20 fucking years, or yeah, like 20 years almost after California, I started fucking trying out strains, and I went fucking crazy too. I was trying to do 100 strains in 100 days, and I basically did it, but it took me 120 days. So I smoked a different strain every night, but at 100 strains, 120 days. So it was close. I was thinking about writing like a fucking like little book or some shit about it, and writing about taking pictures of it. I love taking pictures of weed. Like, my hobby kind of goes up and down depending on like how my like PTSD is doing. So right now my hobby's kind of picking back up. Like, I'm starting to get interested in it again because I'm getting like a harvest. I just harvested like 6 or 7 plants like within the last week or so. I think I got like one more. I got two more going, and then I'm gonna pop some more seeds. So I was thinking, I'm gonna take pictures of all these strains. I'll have fucking 100 nice pictures. I'll have little reviews. I'll put about the smell and little medical benefits. Because for every one of those 100 strains, I wasn't just smoking it and like going about my day or just like getting fucking high and falling asleep. Like, every single one of those, I had a fucking notebook, and I would write like how I was feeling before I smoked it, how the taste of it, the onset, exactly like where I felt it first. Like, I was really studying this shit because I was searching for like, I had smoked these strains before and I knew the name of them, but I wasn't 100% sure if that's exactly what it was, because they came from like the street, from like a friend. So I said, there are these strains out there that work like perfectly for me, like fucking perfectly. Shit that makes you feel like, it actually feels like you're getting a massage. It actually fucking feels like fucking hands massaging you. It sounds unbelievable, but I've smoked shit that does that shit to me, where it feels like someone's fucking calming you down. And I've had fucking like ADD and shit since I was little. So my mind's been racing for like, since I've known like thought, since I've been able to think, my mind's been fucking racing. And when you get like problems in your life and shit like that, you know, all the problems that people have throughout their lives. For someone with ADD, a lot of the times it's hard to like push them down, because there's just so much shit going on that it's as you get older, you know, obviously it's harder and harder to like push that shit down. And that is like a big part to like mental illness, to like why a lot of people in this country like have mental illness. It's from shit like that. So I was studying these fucking strains, right? I'm trying to figure out like which ones are good for depression, which ones are good for anxiety. I got all these stomach issues. I got basically like Crohn's disease. So I'm figuring out which ones do I just smoke 1 or 2 little vape hits, and then I can eat an entire like huge fucking plate of like spaghetti, and my stomach doesn't feel a thing. Because if I eat a plate of spaghetti without smoking weed, there's so much pressure and pain like in your stomach that you can't even function. Like, if my kid came in the room like crying or some shit like that, or like fell and hurt his leg, or my daughter or whatever, like, your stomach is so fucked up when you got these like stomach gastrointestinal diseases that you can't do shit. Like, you literally have to like lay down, and you just can't do shit. So I found out during that 100 strains in 100 days, I found out a lot of things. I found out that almost every single strain you smoke before you eat food makes your digestion like relax, and it makes your stomach not hurt. And it's almost every single one. I found out that maybe 10 out of the 100 strains were like amazing for like anxiety, because the indica shit will relax you. It will calm your mind down. It will do, well, some of them have an effect where like chocolate is an example, but that's a more sativa one, but there's a ton of them. A lot of stuff with Chemdog, a lot of stuff with Sour Diesel, a lot of these crosses. When you smoke them, if you sit there and try to think of something that's been like on your mind for 10, 20 years that you know you've never like processed, like shit that's fucked you up, right? Like anything. I don't want to start listing shit, but when you smoke these kind of strains and you think about one of those things, like say that, let me just try to create one here, just not to get too personal. Let's say that when you, let's pretend I wasn't affected by my house fire, but like I think my parents were. So let's pretend that fucking house fire, like every time I thought about it, like I just went into like a fucking panic attack, right? So we're just pretending that it actually didn't. But when you would smoke these certain strains, I would sit there and think of something like that house fire, and I would get zero body like reaction to it. So what it's doing is it's temporarily like relieving PTSD like completely. So there's not too many strains that do this. Like I didn't just study those 100. Like I've been studying these fucking strains like for 15 years probably, and analyzing like everything that it's doing to you, like to myself. So I got to get this information like out there at some point. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm just gonna fade away, and this type of shit just
In fact,
stay in my head. You know what I mean?
You know, please do. I mean, people need to know that shit, brother. For real. That's for real. And as far as the PTSD thing goes, I want to know some. Give me some right now, man. You know, I've seen a lot of people and more people suffering from it. You know, I've talked, a few times about a personal story with my daughter who had it, still suffers from it. And cannabis really fucking jumped in and saved her in a lot of ways, man. She had an accident, and after that, man, they tried to fucking prescribe her all kinds of shit to fucking deal with that, and each one was worse than the next. And she didn't want to deal with it. She couldn't deal with it. It was tough without. It was even tougher with. It was more numbness with, and not even being there, which wasn't good. And it was, cannabis ultimately that got her off the other shit and fucking started really impacting her more. So if you can help her or anybody else with some strains that you know of, please do, brother. Get that shit out there.
I need to get my book. I got like a little book that's got like years worth of shit, but I really have to sit down and think back to like the shit that is worth sharing information about, and really sitting down and thinking about those memories and stuff like that. But do you know what? It's either the number one or like top 3 causes of PTSD is actually car accidents. Everyone thinks soldiers, like everyone thinks like PTSD, especially the older generation. Like you ask someone like my parents who are like 70, you ask someone like them, especially like, just the older generation who grew up a lot harder. There is no such thing as PTSD, if you ask them. Or, one of my dad or someone would say like, I could see that with a soldier who fucking saw his buddy like blown apart or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But it's fucking car accidents happen way more than a soldier being injured or seeing something in another country. Like we're having our own fucking car accidents every day here in every state in our own country. I had 2 terrible ones, but my last one was real fucked up. My lips kind of like a little fucked up, little deformed.
I'm ashamed to admit that
Oh, it froze up again.
Oh man,
Oh,
can you hear me? I'm here.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you. I just couldn't. I couldn't hear what you were saying then.
Oh, I was letting you go there. I kind of forgot myself. Um,
Yeah, we were just talking about car accidents and
sorry.
shit.
Oh, the PTSD, I'm sure. Yeah, man, that shit's crazy, man. That I'm ashamed to admit that I was right there with the older crowd. I don't know if I'm as old as your dad or whatever, but man, when when it hit home and I seen the real impact of it, and then later on, kind of getting a little bit of it myself, man, that shit is no joke. No fucking joke, man. That shit will lock you up tighter
Yeah,
than shit, man. And that's
yeah,
that confusion, that merry-go-round type feeling of,
yeah,
so many thoughts and not being able to grab one and fucking run with it is rough, man.
yeah. And you do, and as it's happening to you over years, like you don't even see it. Like you're so fucking like your whole body and your whole system and everything that reacts like inside your brain, which it's hijacked. Like something fucking this disease, like or whatever you want to call it, it hijacks your brain, and it is a disease of thoughts. PTSD is a disease of thinking. It's a thinking disease, and a thinking disease is is fucking terrible. That's why there's no like cure. I mean, there's cures for like other shit, but you can't cure people's own demons, like attacking them. Like it's so individual. So weed seriously does help tremendously, but the only problem with weed and PTSD is it's temporary. So it'll temporarily block all that shit. Where, like I was saying, you try to think of something that like gets a reaction out of you, and nothing happens. You're sitting there like it's just another thought. Like, oh, what did I have for lunch? And it's like, oh, remember that house fire? Nothing happens. It's just another thought, which is like the ultimate goal of all these fucking therapies that they have for PTSD. Aside from like just talk therapy, because talk therapy is a years long fucking struggle, and it almost never like, oh, my PTSD is gone. I talked about it for 5 years. Like there's all these other different type of therapies that help a lot more because they go in and try to hijack your mind as well. So there's shit with those blinking lights, or there's shit where they tap you, and it's making you talk about all these fucking things while you're like distracted, so that you don't. Because if you just start talking about it, pretend the guy's like, yeah, my Humvee rolled over. I got out. I seen a 5-year-old. She started walking towards me. Her fucking head blew off, or some shit like that. Someone's just not going to be able to like talk about that and then go, oh, I feel better now. Like I'm cured. That's all that the talk therapy shit does. Is when you leave the appointment, you sometimes will feel like, oh, I got that shit off my chest. So you'll feel good for like a couple hours, but nothing has changed. Nothing's changed. And oftentimes it's making you like bring shit up that leads to all these different fucking things. So it just makes it worse. Just makes you feel like when you leave like an appointment or some shit where you're just talking to someone, you leave like raw, like super fucking raw. Like your skin is gone. Like it's just, that skin that's underneath, like under here, that like your muscle, your fucking dark red muscle. It's like walking outside and like you're just exposed fucking muscle to the world. And like everything, the wind, like everything fucking stings. So that is also like a huge result of just talking about your fucking problems. So that's why I'm a huge fan of smoking weed after work, a strain that I know helps me, and then my PTSD is temporarily fucking bear hugged, choked out. The shit's just gone. And when you find like a good strain that completely blocks PTSD, it does two things. It immediately puts you back into the present, where you never are when you have PTSD. Puts you right back into the present. Instantly, like, boom, I'm fucking here and I'm just in the fucking present. And when you have that kind of like instantaneous effect from fucking a plant, you can be a better father. You can play with your kids. Shit like that. Like shit that's so valuable. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna get emotional now.
So you've tried the tapping? I've kind of looked into that a little bit lately. Did you find anything, any kind of help in the tapping?
Yeah, I thought that shit was like a joke. When I first like heard about it, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like tapping shit. So yeah, I tried that shit. I tried another one. I can't remember. Might be some shit with like lights or some shit, but they're basically trying to do the same thing. And the guy that I was having like do it just like sucked. So that's how these things work. Is it's not just you're just gonna go to any fucking person in the world that has like this light device or tells you to fucking like tap your head or like alternate tapping yourself or some shit. Like you need like a professional that's done this stuff and like helped lots of people, that's seen like every sign and knows that when someone's starting to talk about like their fucking demons, that they know where to steer you like during this fucking like mind hack. So you need like a really good instructor like that's doing that type of fucking therapy. And I have gotten relief from like certain shit that like did bother me for fucking decades. Like I had shit that I didn't, it's not something like I thought about every day, but it's something that like never went away. Something that left like a bad taste in your mouth. Something that like that stung at like a certain age of your life. And you always kind of held on to that sting, no matter like where you went, what you did, you're on a vacation, like something might trigger that fucking sting from when you were 7 years old or some shit like that. So I've gotten relief from like past kind of like trauma shit, but half of my own personal issues are shit from like the future. It's like things that can happen in the future. That's like my own personal shit, is shit from the future. And so far I haven't found like anything that can help like that. But there were some, you know what, the therapy that helped me the most, it wasn't just like a tapping. It was some kind of like, it was like three of those kind of mental fucking treatments, whatever you want to call them, like all blended into one. And the lady was like, I think the lady that did it was like, I think she might have invented it. So I had like the inventor of this fucking technique who like blended the three best like alternative type of those weird therapies like all in one. But yeah, I can give you her information like after this. I don't want to put her out there, but yeah, if you got shit from like the past that actually like fucking bothers you, that you like can't get rid of, like if you try this out with her and you actually like believe in it and you follow like everything they're saying and you use your imagination and you're like calm, they can actually steer this shit so that when you think about that bad thing that happened when you were 7 or whatever it was. Like they make it become just another thought. It really works. Like I couldn't believe it. Like there's a bunch of shit that I like got help with that was bugging me for like ever. But yeah, I can pass you that lady's information and you can try it out. But you know what I'm saying? Like half my shit's
Please
fucking
do. I've been
one's about the future.
it's
and
been
shit.
recently suggested to me by I was doing the people's floor, and we got talking about whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And we were talking about the tapping, and I had never heard of it before, and she sent me a
Yeah.
couple links, and I watched it, and I thought, man, this is really really awesome stuff, because I you know I the pharmaceutical bullshit, you know, outside of whatever, man, I just I'm not a fan. So if you know, it's killed a lot of my friends, a lot of family. I've seen just horrible things from pharmaceuticals. So
Yeah.
cannabis, tapping, alternative methods. I'm all about that kind of shit. So yeah, please do send me that link. I'd love to look further into it.
Yeah, your only other hope is if you can get into like a fucking MDMA trial, something like that. But that shit's like on very tight lockdown. I actually have a facility that's like near me in Connecticut, and I fucking like Google mapped it, and it was like 2 hours away or some shit. So I called the place, and they do like it's you know I don't know if you heard of this one. They're doing like ketamine treatments, which they say is like for depression. They hook you up to like IV ketamine. But I didn't want that. I wanted to try like the MDMA one because I've seen some crazy, crazy shit that's like fucking soldier was like at the hospital. He asked for like this medicine. They gave him like 10 times the amount of Valiums. He went home. He put a gun in his mouth. So he was at that point where this dude's got like a fucking gun in his mouth. He somehow got like a random call or something like that, or bumped into somebody the next day, and they put him into like the John Hopkins like MDMA trial. Dude took MDMA once. They talked him through all his problems. The dude's PTSD free, like a couple years now. And he was literally like a week before, like a gun in his mouth. Like it was that extreme. They use it for like they've been using MDMA in like private settings type of shit for like marriage counseling. So if you can imagine like how it helps like two people who are married and then grown apart to they're like strangers and then like just taking ecstasy together, like if it can fix like potentially like decades worth of personal issues and all that shit, and it can fix like a fucking marriage in 1 session, 2 sessions, it can fix a soldier or a cop or someone who's on like the death's door. Like it can reverse that. So that's also an option. I don't know if they're studying PTSD with mushrooms as well. I think they are. That's why all this shit's becoming legal now, because it's the same thing that happened with weed. People know behind the doors that this shit fucking helps. It's not some drug you gotta like hide or ban. It's all fucking about money. Everything is about fucking money, power, and control. Everything. So someone's licking their lips behind the fucking doors, shaking hands. They're setting up stuff years ahead of when it's actually like gonna be legal. Like there's people making deals like 5 years ago, setting up for when like whoever president or who the fuck ever is gonna make weed federally legal. All this shit's going on. I mean, you got to be stupid to not fucking think that. Like, we know it's about money.
Well, I'd like to think, and I, talk about this quite a bit, man. And I hope it applies to you, man. But what for me and a lot of other people, man, the cultivating the plant is a big, I smoked weed for a long fucking time. a long fucking time. We can call it medicine, and a lot of people use just smoking the bud as a medicine. There's a lot of ways you can use cannabis for medicine, but I'm telling you right now, as far as medicine for the mind itself, cultivation, being in that room with the plants and all that, that's where I find almost the biggest benefits in cannabis is through the cultivation side of things, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Just like I think it was Bodie, one of my favorite breeders. He said the only thing addicting about cannabis is gardening. It's totally true. That's the only thing addicting about weed is just growing it. You become addicted to gardening. It happens all the time.
That is a true statement right there.
Shit.
It is
yeah.
a very true statement. And then,
yeah. Let me see. So yeah, I think I heard you the other day. You say you got you're growing jelly bean right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am.
Yeah. Is that
that's one of the strains I've heard that works well for PTSD? No.
I have investigated it, but I haven't gone too deep on it enough to say, like, to give like a full fucking like opinion on it. I did investigate it only a couple times where I was actually like sitting down and like writing stuff down with it. I just harvested the F2 like a week or two ago, and I just trimmed it and put it in the jars like earlier tonight. That's why I was bringing it up. I heard you say like you got the jelly bean or something like on a recent show, so it made me think of it, and I was like, oh shit, I just put the F2 in the jars tonight. Now the only problem with the way I did it, I didn't pop enough seeds. That's always my problem. I don't have fucking space. That's my biggest fucking problem is my space. I got 2 fucking tents, and none of them, they're both smaller than a 4x4. And I've got a seed collection that's fucking mega. You know, I've got the addiction like a lot of your listeners, I'm sure. So picking the next shit I got to pop is like fucking torture. And this always happens. I don't know if this happens to other people, but as I'm getting closer to harvest, I'm like, oh, I'm going to pop this one finally, and this one finally, and this one. And then I'll always pull up my fucking phone and just buy something like on the spot. And I'm like, I'm going to grow that in like 3 days. And I just push all the shit that I've been planning on growing for years, like further down the fucking queue. But yeah, so I didn't get to pop a lot of the those F2s. That would have been ideal. Everything I want to fucking grow like a full pack of everything I fucking grow, right? Find the best shit. But I'm stuck doing like mini selections, like very fucking small selections, like trying to pick the best plant from like my experience from like 6 seeds, like 6 regular seeds, and just trying to pick the best one to flower, which is a difficult task even for like decade-long experienced breeders, because you really don't know what the best smokable female flower is until you smoke all the fucking flowers. So you're just kind of selecting on like vigor, on the root, on the health of it, the color, you know, if you like the shape of the leaf, if you're looking for something that's more sativa dominant or something like that, and you see, you know, what most people know as sativa traits, because the whole sativa and indica thing is half of it's like what's that, leafly, like sites like that. Half of it's like shit from articles from like websites online that like that are written by people that don't grow, written by people that are like weed marketing people or some shit like that. So you're like, ooh, a sativa. It's got all these characteristics. It's got the thin leaves. It gives me energy. Like, shit, you know what I mean? Like, you go to the dispensary and fucking everyone's going to think this shit. Like, I got a funny story for you real quick. Then I'll get back into like the shit, the current situation. But I had a day off from work like 3 weeks ago. So I said, I'm going to go to a dispensary. I'm going to fucking try this shit out, right? I haven't been to a dispensary in maybe like 2 years or something like that. Now, back when I had my card in like 2015, 16, maybe a little bit of 17 or something like that, there was like 20 dispensaries in the whole state. Now in my state, there's probably like fucking, I don't know, 70, 100. I don't know. There's a ton of them. But I do remember that there was only 3 back then that when I was like the end of when I had my card that I would smoke their flower, because I don't even want to get into this story. I'll just say it in like 2 sentences. I used to review all the dispensaries in my state, and I would take macro pictures, like completely like high quality macros. And you wouldn't believe how many medical dispensaries were giving out bud with mold on it, dead bugs. And this is supposed to go into people who, some of them have like lung fucking issues. Like there was, when I used to go back then, it was medical only, and it was easy as shit. Like it really was. Just go to your fucking doctor, tell them, you know, I snore or something retarded. My fingernail broke. They'll give you a fucking card. But when I used to go, every time I saw a fucking old person that was fucking hobbling, like a real old person, not just like a fucking dude getting off his Harley, like, I'm trying to get my weed. You know, this was like a fucking like real old people that had pain, at least, you know, or so yeah, they were selling that shit to fucking lost my train of thought. Sorry, Eagle. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, my trip to the dispensary. So I went like 3 weeks ago, and I go in there, and I'm there just to get like a couple grams of a couple different things just to try out, because I haven't bought like weed that I didn't grow myself in like a long time. And I'm kind of like a fucking snob about my weed, like what I smoke, what I touch, like certain shit, how the shit was grown, you know, that fucking level of like asshole. And I get in there and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The line was out the door. There was like 80 people all trying to get weed at like 10 different registers. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking this is the busiest fucking dispensary like I've ever been to. Like, what the fuck has changed, right? And this wasn't a medical one. This was for rec. So this was like, well, it was both, but most people there were for rec. And I get up to the counter and I'm like, you guys are busy. I'm like, is it always fucking like this? And he says, oh, no. We just released 3 new cookie strains today. So then it all hit me like, oh shit, that's why almost everyone in here is in their like young to like mid 20s. Everyone's kind of like dressed the same, like looks like they're all gonna like show this bag and be like, check out my bag, like, and post it on Instagram and be like, I got the fucking cookies. Like all these people,
fucking trendy cannabis, huh?
They all literally think that it's the best weed. They think that because they like see it, that like they're like, I've got the fucking best. Like I got the best. Like they really think that, and it's just like I can't even like talk to them. Like try to like talk to someone about you know this. But yeah, that's just a funny story from my last dispensary visit, because that's the one dispensary in Massachusetts that has like a contract with like the real fucking Cookies and Burner and all those fucking guys. It's the one place. So you can't get cookies, official cookies, packaging, official cookies, weed, anywhere else in my state except that place. And I was there like on that day by accident when they had like a new drop of like some shit. I don't know what the fuck it was, but I ended up getting like 4 or 5 strains, all like house strains. I didn't fucking touch none of them cookie strains.
Sadly, that's what fucking. Oh man, that breaks my heart because I know it's
So
true.
that's the
I
state
know it's
of
fucking
that's
true.
the weed situation of like most people that smoke weed in like my state at least. I'm sure it's a lot of other East Coast states because that shit we're always like 5 years behind California, maybe a little bit more. Like there's so many things I've seen where we're always like 3 to 5 years behind California, like with getting like certain clones, like certain strains, what becomes popular when, like all that shit. Like California really is the fucking like mecca. It really is. Can't deny it. I fucking love East Coast. I love East Coast weed. I love fucking Chem Dog. Chem Dog's from fucking Massachusetts. Like Sour Diesel and Chem Dog. East Coast. New York can't touch it, right? Originated over here. They know. You know, even all the big breeders out there will say, like, you know, we can't deny it. That shit's fucking knock you on the head. We want it. Everyone wants it. East Coast still fucking loves it. East Coast will always love Sour Diesel. Sour Diesel's way more popular than Chem Dog. But I think they're definitely related. I mean, I've grown a lot of hybrids of each in my life, and there's so many traits that are like fucking the same, including like half of the terps. So shit, yeah.
So
I
do you
just
think
chopped out.
we'll ever see? I mean, I can't fucking take the fucking cookies thought out of my head. Do you fucking think we're gonna fucking see like fucking glam, fucking stupid cookie commercials one day, like fucking models
Yeah.
sitting there like making your kids fucking want to fucking, oh my god, you see that? They're smoking that. What a sad state of cannabis will be at that point.
And you know something? The ball is rolling already so huge that it's never going to stop. And Burner is already like years ahead of all of us. He's years ahead. I mean, the guy was a fucking security guard at like a dispensary. Now he's like you got to give it to him. All right. At least the guy has like a fucking crazy fucking hustle. Like, I at least give him that. I fucking can't stand his music. I can't stand his face. But hustle. I give it to him. I'll give it to him. He's got the fucking hustle. And he knows what fucking people want, you know, what the majority of people that smoke weed want. And now, with it all being legal, everyone's fucking out there. Like I'm probably younger than you, but for the majority of my weed smoking days, you didn't tell fucking no one. You didn't tell no one. No one. No one. You want a fucking little cup with a tiny seed in it in your bedroom closet? You better hide that shit from your mom. Don't fucking let your mom know. Like, no fucking way. No one can know. Maybe tell like a best friend if they're like your little weed smoking buddy. You know what I mean? I got a plant under a fucking desk lamp. Like, maybe tell them. But don't tell no one. And every smoke ride that you went on, you were just, it was, your going to jail was on the line on just a fucking smoke ride. So every time you went out with your buddies, I'm going to pick you up. Yo, want to go for a smoke ride, burn ride, whatever the fuck you want, right? Every single one of those. Every single one. It was, my favorite was the time that the police lights did go on behind you, and then you instantly tightened up your asshole. You're like, I'm going to jail. And then, whoo, they go right by. The celebration after that was like, oh my God. The celebration after that was like fucking coming.
I still do it. I still do it. It's fucking like 2 days ago, I fucking
You're programmed
tightened up,
like me.
cop come
You're
around.
programmed to look in that rearview mirror like me, I bet.
I fucking actually had to tell myself, you know, what the fuck are you, what the fuck is your problem? You're completely legal. You're completely legal. What the fuck, man? It's hard to erase that. All that.
Yeah, and like those lawyers, you know those guys, those two guys, they're like the fucking weed lawyers or whatever. Their favorite saying is just shut your fucking mouth. Don't say
Pot
nothing about
brothers,
your
huh?
day. Yep. Don't tell them nothing about your day. Don't even say that you were smoking yesterday. You know, they can't make you talk about anything you did that day. They can't make you talk. So shut your fucking mouth. Great advice, right?
Okay. Fuck yeah, I had Greg from Pot Brothers in Law on the show.
Oh
Fuck yeah,
shit.
he's
I'll
an
have to check
awesome
that one
dude.
out.
Yeah. Oh man, you should. That's a good one too, man. He's a fun guy, but man, that was a great episode. I appreciate what he does. He's helped a lot of
Yeah.
us, you know,
Yeah.
keep fucking our shit fucking out of trouble. That's for sure.
Oh fuck. Taking a little stroll.
So when did you initially start growing? When did the cultivation side start taking hold?
Well, I have a long up and down, on and off relationship with smoking weed and with growing weed. Hold on one second here. Give me 1 minute, Eagle. I'm just straightening out a situation
No worries, no worries.
here.
Cheers, everybody in the chat. 63 people hanging out currently. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Shit. Hope I'm not boring them too much. I get a little, like I said, my ADD fucked up, so I can get off topic real bad.
Oh no,
All right.
it's been a great episode so far, brother. Fucking for real.
Yeah. Once
Appreciate
I
it.
get. Oh fuck. All right. I'm back in the dungeon here. So yeah, just like smoking weed, my relationship with growing weed has been up and down for a long time. I'm trying to think of where to start with like what's noteworthy because don't want to talk about just popping like a bag seed under a fucking desk lamp and then just watching it veg for a couple weeks and then it dies. Like, you know, that's just like that's not noteworthy. Let me think of where to start. Probably the place to start is with outdoor growing. In the summer, going into I think it was my senior year, and we picked a spot. I think the year before we used to go to this kid John's house, and this is in the North Shore of Massachusetts. So this is cities like this is Salem, Massachusetts, the witch city. So this is all the cities around there is where I grew up. So we picked a spot off of this like it wasn't a highway, but it was like a pretty major road. It's still there today. It's called Route 114. Now this goes through Peabody and Danvers is the area where we decided like we're gonna fucking like hollow out an area here like that it was covered by trees but there was still like enough sunlight because we would like smoke at this spot and be like yo the fucking sun's like getting me like how many hours a day and like just sitting around like daydreaming about growing like monster trees which never were monster trees. They were always like 6 to 7 feet like Christmas trees or something like that and you'd be happy with that. So back to this girl, which is a fucked up story. So this kid, John, he was at our high school, right? He lived behind a Blockbuster Video. Oh, fuck. I got 15%. I'll charge my phone in a minute after this story. He lived behind a Blockbuster Video, which used to be on Route 114. And in his basement, he had like, I don't know if it was like a bomb shelter or what the fuck it was, but down in his basement he had this long like cement dark fucking like tunnel that went like 30 or 40 feet and then it went up some stairs and you were like in the woods next to his house. Now, I don't know what the fucking thing was for, but we were smoking in his basement and we're thinking this is like our spot. Because if we ever get caught or something, like we have a fucking door, like in the woods basically, that goes into the dude's house. So we ended up storing like tons of fucking jugs of water, like down in this tunnel. And we ended up making him pretty much like our water boy. I think we paid him in like weed, and we basically paid him with our friendship. He was like a kid that we didn't want to hang out with. So yeah, we basically gave him like our friendship for like the summer and hang out with him if he like kept these plants like healthy. So it was basically like 6 plants all buried in the ground. Like we didn't have any pots for like outdoor back then. This was all buried in the ground. I think we put them in like middle of May. Half of them would die. You know, there was expected, like something would always come and fucking eat it or eat the roots, or it had some kind of fucking bugs. Every year there's like different kind of bugs. But I mean, this was the woods, but it wasn't like the deep woods. This was like the woods behind like a major road, but it wasn't just like the woods off a highway. This was like woods where there's like streets and houses kind of around it. So it's like a patch of woods. So let me try to think how to get to this point. So it's probably September, maybe the first week of September. The plants are probably like 5 feet tall. They're pretty much like done growing. We're going back there one day. We're wicked fucking high. We sit down next to the plants. We're smoking fucking weed. And John says, "What the fuck is that?" And we all look up in the sky, and a fucking helicopter from the state police was flying over the fucking woods, probably like a quarter mile away from our spot. So all of us fucking get up like a movie, and we're running towards the door in the floor of the fucking woods. We go down through the door. We're running down his hallway, falling because the fucking thing's pitch black. We're kicking over bottles of water, and we just hide in the basement for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours until it's pitch black. None of us wanted to go home. None of us wanted to make a phone call. None of us wanted to leave the fucking basement. Like, we were waiting for the state police to like burst through the fucking woods door, burst through this dude's front door. Like, his parents are upstairs. This is like a big ass fucking house. Like, this kid was like rich. Like, I didn't grow up rich. My buddy, who was also part of this little shit, didn't grow up rich. He grew up just a regular house like me. But this dude, John, was fucking like rich. So we're wondering, like, is this dude upstairs? Like, are these fucking cops upstairs? Like, we don't know what the fuck's happening. Bottom line, we ended up just going up the stairs, back to our cars, never spoke to John again. That was the last time me and my buddy Phil ever spoke to this John dude again. We basically acted like we didn't know him. We were like, we gotta cut ties with this dude. Like, everything's on his property, everything's in his basement. It's his word against ours, like 2 against 1. So we just fucking let it go. The police did find them and take them, or at least someone did, because we went back like 2 weeks later. Like, me and my buddy Phil didn't go near John. We fucking parked our car in like a dentist's office up the hill, walked like the back way through the woods with like fucking binoculars so that we were far, far away. We were acting like we were just like kids walking through the woods. Like, we were trying to stay fucking separate from that shit because we didn't know what the fuck was going to be there. We were super fucking paranoid, just like as we should be, you know? So yeah, we basically disowned the rich dude, John. And, yeah, that was it. So that was that's probably like that was our first time that we were going to get like a real fucking harvest. Because everything before that never would go in the flower, or we put it in the shade and it didn't even stretch, or it would sex and then just like never fucking make weed. Or it would just stay, if it was indoors or something like that, it would grow for like 3 or 4 weeks and then just like die. Like we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. You didn't go to like a fucking grow store. There wasn't even a grow store. Like I don't know of any fucking hydro shops back then around where I was. But you definitely didn't go online. Like I remember the first time I saw weed like online on Overgrow. I was in my high school, like we had like a state of the art, because this is a Catholic high school, right? We have a state of the art computer lab. It's probably like 20 computers or some shit like that. Now back then, I at my own house had like just gotten like AOL, where you're like messaging people like bling, you know, that fucking thing when that thing first came out. So this is like 96 or something. So I had slow ass internet. When I got into my high school, I couldn't believe it. This was like literally like the computers today. Like you touch enter on a search or something and the page popped right up. Like it was like mind blowing. It was like the first time you saw like HD TV and you're like, what the fuck? Like, look at this news reporter. Like I can touch this dude's fucking hair. It was like that, like mind blowing shit. Right. So I'm on fucking Overgrow and I did some weird shit on there. And I actually heard this on I heard this on Subcool's podcast where he says there's this fucking like command you did and you heard the bong sound. I fucking did that trying to secretly look at weed in my high school computer lab, and it was on like full volume and a teacher was like over by the door and you heard this fucking long ass bong rip. And me and my fucking friend Pete were fucking shitting ourselves. We're in a fucking Catholic high school, right? And there's a bong sound going off. Like that was like, I'm going to get expelled. Like, you're really thinking that, you know, at that point. But yeah, I didn't want to go to Catholic school. My fucking parents sent me. So.
That's some funny shit.
Ugh. So yeah, let me try to think about more grown shit. So probably fast forward. See, I could go into like 2 different sides of my story here. I could go into like strains, like finding the best weed, what kind of shit was around. The first time I ever seen like White Widow, first time I seen like Northern Lights or Super Skunk, shit that was like pop around the East Coast. A lot of stuff like shit's kind of definitely like stuff that would pop up in like the West Coast, like didn't pop up here a lot of times. So I can kind of go down the story of my fucking addiction to strains and finding the best weed and coming across this dude who like turned my whole fucking love and addiction for strains like upside down. This dealer that I discovered through like another kid who was dealing mushrooms who I met. You know, I started dealing mushrooms and then I was dealing mushrooms to the Hells Angels. I almost got fucking killed because I shorted them a bunch of times, but I didn't know that the fucking guy that I was selling it to was like reporting it, how much he fucking got, like back to like his boss or whoever the fuck his Hells Angel buddies were. Like I didn't fucking know. I basically just got like a call like from the dude's son, like, dude, you better fix this right now. They're going to kill you. And it wasn't like, yeah, they're going to kill you, man. It was like, dude, you have to fix this now or they're like going to kill you. Like the dude was fucking like serious. But it was from that mushroom kid that I met this other dude who had all these fucking crazy strains. But let me think. Yeah, going to weed growing. First time I ever seen like a whole bunch of like big, fully budded, like mature budded plants was probably like 2 years after I got out of high school. Maybe 1.5 or something like that. this kid from actually my buddy introduced me to this kid whose either his last name was actually Greenleaf. His real fucking last name was Greenleaf. And this dude was like a Van Wilder type of character. He had been going to the state college, one of the state colleges in Massachusetts for like 6 years. So he was like way fucking older than us. We were probably like 19 or something like that. So this dude's like 24. This guy's been growing like a long fucking time. He was like one of my like mentors, like probably my first like mentor. He taught me about like soil, about what to give him, how to fucking keep him alive, about bugs, all that type of shit for like indoor stuff. But I'll never forget going to this dude's house, and he like trusted me enough at this point. I had no idea about the plants. So this was at a point where you've probably seen this type of shit. You probably did this type of shit back in the day, right? So let me think. This was like 2001, and we're up in this dude's like 3-story like apartment. He was like renting like the whole fucking thing, but he had like a ton of roommates, right? This is like a few miles away from the college that he's going to. So there's no like campus police or anything. Like this is a pretty secluded like house. So this is a good like spot. Takes me up to his attic, and he removes like the wall, like a fucking panel from the wall. I was like, what the fuck? And all I see is just light. Looks just like behind you. Exactly like behind you. Yellow fucking light. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I was fucking in love. Because I had only seen Outdoor Bud at that time. And Outdoor Bud, well, I'd only grown and like seen the buds in front of myself, like actual live plants, like basically outdoor shit or very small indoor stuff. So when I saw these huge fucking plants inside, like under these giant fucking HPSs with like these reflectors he had like welded together himself. He made these like huge, crazy, like psycho geometric fucking things. He's like, I fucking did it all myself. This fucking guy was crazy. Dude, down in this kid's basement, he had like a fucking pet store. He had probably a 12-foot python. He had a iguana, which was like the biggest fucking iguana I'd ever seen. I ended up taking the iguana for like a couple years from him. He brought it over and like put it in my basement, and the thing was just psycho. He gave me 2 iguanas, like a small little girl and then a huge boy. The boy had fucking that big thing under his neck. He had fucking spikes. Like he was huge, and his back muscles, like his leg muscles in the back were like fucking this wide, and they were all muscle. And I used to fuck with that thing, you know what I mean? I'd get drunk or high or some shit, and I'd pull him out of his cage. I'd put him on the ground and like challenge him to a fucking fight, and he would literally like rear up like one of them crazy dragons, those like ones that run, and he would fucking run at you like that. Like shit was crazy. But this dude, yeah, this fucking grower dude, his last name was actually Greenleaf. I didn't believe him. He showed me his like army certificate, and he's like, look, it's fucking really Greenleaf. And this dude lived with another dude who was like a small little kid, and he looked like he looked like a little wimp. Like he looked like a little wimpy kid, and he was a fucking sniper. He was like a fucking proficient, crazy ass sniper. And then one day he like takes his shirt off, and you're like, what the fuck? He looked like Bruce Lee or some shit. He's all tatted up. But when he's wearing like a t-shirt, looked like a little skinny kid, no tattoos, and you're like, look at this fucking nerd, right? But you never know, the dude's a fucking assassin. So this was just one of the characters like floating around this dude's house. So down this basement, he had a fucking snake. He had a giant iguana. He had a small little iguana. And then he had all these fucking fish, crazy fish. I'm not talking like a little fish tank with like, he had like big fucking like, what's that? Like 2 foot by 2 foot, like cubes everywhere, like stacked to the ceiling, like a cross fucking like lined up like fucking blocks all in his basement, each one with like a gigantic fucking fish in it, crazy looking fish. But yeah, that dude fucking that changed my world when I met that dude. And he had weed out behind his house, which was the nicest looking outdoor weed I'd ever seen. Mr. Greenleaf. He was seriously like fucking Van Wilder. Like it was his 6th year at college. The dude was crazy. So he taught me about fucking soil. he ended up introducing me to like Fox Farm. And when he told it to me, he told me that it was some super hard to get shit, and we weren't using like fertilizer, like fucking 10 fertilizer from like Home Depot or some shit, which my parents found in my basement, in my trunk one time, and they seriously thought I was like making a bomb or some shit. So I had to like convince them that I wasn't like a bomber. They found these giant bags of fucking old school fertilizer. So yeah, Mr.
So it
Greenleaf.
sounds like you got a good little start to the indoor right there. Some good advice right from the get. That's
Yeah,
a cool
yeah.
dude, by the way.
Yeah, he was. He was. I tried to look him up like a few years ago, but I don't know whatever happened to him. He became like a guy that like went to all these different countries. He got married and then just like left the US and just went to like all these fucking different countries. And he was just living in different countries like all over the fucking place. It's one of these wanderer dudes, you know. But yeah, he was fucking cool as shit.
That's awesome. So what was your first setup soil? Your first indoor setup soil then?
So I basically moved in with that guy, and I was basically like his bitch for like a year. And then he'd start to give me like real responsibilities. And I was taking fucking like logs of like everything we were fucking doing. So it was basically like, as like a 20-year-old kid, he was like putting me through like all this shit that I thought was like terrible. I was like, I got to do all this terrible shit, and I get like a bag of weed at the end or something like that. But the weed was fucking crazy. The weed was all shit from Amsterdam. This was like a guy that had been going to the Amsterdam since like the 90s. So it like blew away like most shit that we would get like around here then. Like I just saw a thing that Be Real posted. He posted like a video on his thing, and it was the title of it or something was like "Good weed used to be hard to find," and he starts talking about like how kids today have it spoiled and all this shit. And I fucking screenshotted it because I was like, dude, that is so true. Like that is so fucking true. Especially in places where
When
like
you did
outdoor
find it,
isn't a
you wanted
thing.
to go back and buy it all out.
Well, oh fuck.
Yeah, would never fucking want to fucking sell out either. You always wanted to fucking nickel and dime this. No. Either that or you always got, the guy before you just got all. One of the two.
Yeah. Oh my God. I had so many contacts like throughout the years that were like, we think we found like the good contact. Like we think we found the good, like this one's fucking awesome. And a lot of times the good ones were people like you'd never suspect. Like we found this one lady, like, I don't even know where my friend met her. I think my friend was like a courier for a laboratory. So we'd go around to hospitals and shit and like pick up like specimens and stuff like that, like blood and piss for processing. And he met this lady, I think, at like one of the hospitals. I think she like either took people's blood or she did something like that, like one of them kind of jobs. And he ended up getting like quarter from her one day. And the shit was not as good as the stuff that was 50 and 8, you know, the good kind bud stuff, but it was priced at like the price of the commercial shit. So she was charging $25 an 8, $50 for a quarter. And the shit was like almost as good as like the real good KBs. So we were going to her for like a good year. Yeah, and the weird thing was she kept all her weed in the freezer. And when I first heard that, I was like, what the like I didn't understand it at all. I was like, what are you fucking talking about? Because I would give him a ride and shit, but she would never let me go inside. Like he was the only one allowed inside, right? And my buddy's telling me like, yeah, she's got everything in the fucking freezer. She's got them all separated in the quarters. Like there's tons of them. And then we weren't even thinking like, oh shit, let's rob this lady. Like, you know, we did think that kind of shit with like other people, but definitely not like this type of lady. This was like, fuck, like, I'm not gonna rob some fucking like lady. But yeah, you wouldn't believe like the amount of fucking times like somebody got like beat like around here for like a lot of weed. There was this one time I met this kid. I started getting weed from this kid who was like a kid that was my age, but it was his little brother. So this was like the first time that I ever got weed from like someone younger than me. So I was like, what? This fucking kid doesn't know weed, but he had like crazy weed because he was with like the Greek. His family was with like the Greek mafia, and they like controlled like tons of fucking restaurants on like the whole eastern Massachusetts. So this guy was getting it. This young kid who was like fucking 17 or some shit like that. He was getting it all from like his older cousins who had like crazy weed. So we found some weed from him that was fucking like some of the best no name shit like I'd ever smoked at that time. I was probably like 19 when I got this weed. And the shit was like crazy, tons of brown hairs. It was a very dark nug. It had like big old leaf that covered like almost the whole entire nug. And here's the weird thing about it. Well, there's a couple weird things about it, but when you would squish this weed, you would squish it fucking hard like that. And you'd open your hand, the thing would right back to its original shape, completely original shape. It didn't damage it at all. It was like a fucking pillow. We called it the pillow weed. So we would smoke this shit, and this shit was so strong. It was one of the few weeds that made you like super fucking dizzy. Like you would get like wicked fucking dizzy, and not like a uncomfortable, like what kind of fucking bullshit weed is this? Like this shit was like strong ass shit. And I ended up talking to the breeder from Dynasty, you know, Professor P. And I was talking to him about that weed one time, and he said that it's from the dead lot. He said that stuff comes from the dead lot, and he knew like exactly what I was talking about with the big leaf, squish it, the pillow, the colors of the hairs, the effects, like the dizziness. Like he knew everything about it. He's like, that's fucking. I had that same shit. He said that used to come from the Grateful Dead lots. So I don't know how these fucking Greeks had it, but yeah, that was a cool story. That was some good weed.
Sounds fucking kick ass.
But yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
sorry, let me finish that story. Let me give me 1 second.
What?
So I was smoking that pillow weed from that little young dude, and we were like, this shit's awesome. Literally the next day, this older kid, Jim, who was like, he was a psycho. He used to put like Klonopins in girls' drinks. Like he was fucking crazy. I worked with him at like an old age home kitchen. The fucking kitchen phone would ring all the time. He'd fucking answer the phone, and he was dealing like lots of weed out of like the kitchen of an old age home. Like, so dude was fucking crazy, right? So he calls me and he says, I got some awesome weed. He's like, you're gonna love it. 50 and eighth. And I was like, oh, like I don't know. I found some really good weed like right now too. Like I don't think I want to get this. And he's like, dude, trust me. So I ended up getting like 1 or 2 friends, put some money together. We're like, I get $15 a piece or something like that. So we meet up with him, and he's got fucking pounds of the exact same weed. And turns out he had fucking met up with that dude and punched the fucking shit out of him and stole all the weed out of his trunk. And now, so I'm kind of pissed because I'm like, dude, you just beat this dude up and like stole the weed. I'm like, the Greek mafia is coming after you. I'm like, so I'm just pissed that he's charging me 50 and eighth from like stolen weed. But you know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck to do. The dude was a psycho. So he hung out with some fucking psychos, like people that were fucking, people that were fucking doing shit like way worse and drawing way more attention than I wanted to at that time. Fucking attacking cops and shit like that. But I didn't want any of that heat on me. So yeah, that's the end of that story. Oh fuck.
So what'd your first setup look like indoors? What I mean,
So this
after
this
you
is kind of
let
where
growing with that guy there, did you start doing it for yourself indoors there at some point?
I had some many years where I didn't even smoke weed. I had many years where I didn't grow nothing. Now, as far as not even like touching weed, I probably had like 4 years maybe or something like that at one point, maybe even 5, where my life got like so fucked up where I completely like lost my whole relationship like with the plant, like with weed, with everything. Like I was doing fucking way worse shit, way harder drugs, crazy shit like that. So before all that shit started, I was just growing weed with friends. It was always me and a friend, me and 2 friends or some shit like that. So once I started to regrow and I started to get back into smoking in like 2015. So it was probably like 2010 that I like didn't touch weed, didn't think about it. It made me feel like anxious, and I was just doing fucking harder drugs and shit like that. So when I started smoking again, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, what, this shit is helping me like tremendously, right? So I'm gonna start growing like again, but this time I'm actually gonna be fucking just me. So this was the first time that it was just me. So I went fucking ham. I was researching all fucking things organic, all fucking things grow lights, did the whole fucking thing. And then it was probably after I had the outdoor plants on the very first time when I started growing at the place I'm at now, I started some indoor stuff. I started with like a 3x3 with LEDs. Oh no, it wasn't LEDs. I had like a blurple light for like one grow. Started researching because it was an LED, obviously, but I'm thinking like, oh, LEDs are so special now. So I realized blurples fucking most of the time don't give you a good yield. You can get a good product, you can get a good high from something grown under like a blurple light, but the yield is terrible. So I wanted fucking more weed. So I started researching like what I could afford, and I ended up getting like a $150 like cob light. But it was like it wasn't just a single like cob. It was one of those ones like it was like 4 different spectrums of the cob all in one housing. And I'm trying to think of what the fuck I grew. I don't remember what I grew, but it was soil. At that point, I was like, I'm just gonna go soil. I researched soil like crazy. I started talking to a guy online, and he became like my organic modern day like mentor. I don't even want to say his name because ended up finding out like all sorts of shit about this dude like later, and just I didn't want to say the dude's name anyway. I think that's how I got deleted. I think it was something to do with that dude because his account was actually like deleted. One of his accounts, his main accounts, which had probably like 30,000 followers or maybe more, got deleted like the day before me. So I'm not surprised because I'd been trying to like spread information, everything true about this breeder for years now, and it affects this dude's money because this guy, that's all this dude cares about is money. Everything he says is a fucking lie. I'll shoot you who it is after this, but he was basically like my fucking mentor, which is fucked up. So he taught me all about how to grow with just water and every single detail about this soil. Every time I ran into a problem, I sent him a fucking message and he had an answer because he'd been using it for like a year already at that point, and he'd probably grown like 500 plants or something like that in the soil in like that 1 year. And this guy grows like crazy amounts of shit all over different grows in different states. So I basically learned water only soil from that dude. And I got a better I ended up eventually getting like still a budget, but like a better LED, which was way more efficient than like the 200 watt. I had two 200-watt like mixed cob like units. So I was burning like 400 watts in a 3x3, but it was extremely like inefficient. But for some reason, the weed that everything I've ever grown under those lights is wicked potent. Like, I don't even know why. And I've grown a ton of plants under those lights. And I actually still have one running down in my basement right now in my autoflower tent. Because I really got into autoflower.
LEDs, that fucking spectrum just makes them produce just fucking nothing but sticky oil. I've had some, so under some of them blurple lights, man. I've went through them all, man. I'm sad. I have what Sergeant Pepper 420 is called at one point. The fucking like an LED fucking museum still over here. From like the fucking flat panels, I've got the Mars panels. I worked my way, oh man, right through all that bullshit. I was right there kind of with you. I wanted to believe early on that LED was going to be that fucking next big thing. And I produced, some good weed under there, but man, some of them spectrums just threw fucking grease. They took, I didn't have the same weight, but man, what I produced that same strain under there was fucking just grease. Is that what you're referring to there? There are some of those.
You just gave me a great idea. You know what somebody should do? Somebody should take like a 4x8 tent or something that's kind of longer, line up like 6 of the same clones, and then put the evolution of the LED 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights all across, and grow them all at the same time and flower them and see what kind of results you get. That would be hilarious to just see like a 6-gram plant, like a 14-gram plant, a 1-ounce plant, a 2-ounce plant. Oh shit. I lost the sound, Eagle. I can't hear shit.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I was on mute. That's me. I was
No,
fucking
I hear
mute.
you now.
I'm here to tell you embarrassingly that some of my fucking collection goes back so far. They're light bright. They almost look like fucking light bright panels. No ballast, no nothing. Fucking, it looked like you just fucking set up a light bright and tried to grow fucking weed under that shit.
All that
That's
work.
how far
all that
back
work
the
for the end.
collection goes, man. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Look. Yeah, I can't wait to fucking smoke this jelly bean. I smoked like a early sample of it, but the terps on it are completely different than like all the other jelly beans I've smoked. Like this particular like pheno I got, tons and tons of double serrations. I think it's from the skunk in the background. You'll see if you like, I see a lot of the times when you have like a true older skunk, there's lots of fucking double serrations, and every single fan leaf on this whole entire plant was just about every spot was a double, just about. But the weird thing was about this pheno I got is the terps are like a fruity nail polish. Like it's definitely a nail polish like smell is like the dominant smell from a Jilly Bean F2, which I was not expecting that like at all. But I did smoke like an early nug. I took down like maybe a week before like the rest or something like that, and it was like a calming effect. It's hard to say, but first little sample was like a calming effect. You know, it's known to be like not every single seed, but there are like cuts out there and people can find it pretty easy. It does have some of the most widely reported like best effects for depression. And you hear it, I've heard it over and over and over from tons of different people, unrelated, all walks of life. And I hear that over and over and over. My memory of smoking like a really good fruity Jilly Bean is that it made my mind like wicked creative. And every time I get bursts and bursts of creativity, it does tell me that it is subduing that part that we were talking about earlier, where it subdues your like PTSD or depression, that kind of like illness. It does block that for me, because every time that is managed for me, I will get crazy bursts of creativity. Like it just happened to me last night with the PCK, the Pakistani shitral. That was my first plant down. I ended up taking it earlier than I wanted, but the effect on it, like I don't want it any different than it is right now. Like it gave me the craziest explosion of ideas like I've had in like a long time. And I love that kind of weed. It makes me like hyper, and it makes me just like, it's like taking a hose and pinching it, right? This is my own personal like creative thoughts. Because I've got this fucking issues, my creative mind is blocked constantly, like someone pinching a hose. When I smoke a certain strain, just like the PCK, it's like letting that hose go, and ideas are like exploding fucking everywhere. And literally within the first 10 minutes of the high, no exaggeration, I thought of a complete short film with all the characters, what they look like, everything that they say throughout the movie, the opening scene, the closing scene, every setting of the whole entire little movie, like 4 different like settings, everything that happens, plus like 3 other ideas at the same time that was all happening. Like it was a fully formed fucking movie, like in my mind. It's like creative thinking, like hyper accelerated. But that's the way I used to think, like before all my fucking issues. You know what I mean? Like go back like 2 decades. I always thought like that. That's why every time I smoked weed back in the 90s and closed my eyes, I would see like the craziest fucking shit like happening, just forming into another thing, into another thing, into another thing. It was just my mind like finally like free. But now that I'm older, I got all these fucking problems. The creative part of my brain is pinched like a fucking hose. Fucking blocked. And then certain weed, open that shit up. So I love those weeds. It makes my wife think I'm like a fucking psycho, because I'm running around the house like, I got this fucking idea, and I'm just rambling and rambling and rambling. And she's like, oh my God, he must have smoked the fucking good weed again. But yeah, it
Which
gives me
ones are
tons
them
of
for
relief.
you, brother? Which ones are them for you? For me, it's the pine turds. Which ones were hit you like that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, please.
Oh no, I was just describing, that was all from just this the first plant I took down this round. It was Pakistani chitral. Which is, I don't know if I'd call that a land race, but some people do. It's a Pakistani, but a lot of Pakistanis are known to, they're different from Afghanis in a lot of ways, but they're widely known to have more of a balanced effect, and especially like the PCK, it always breeds purple. Like if you breed with a purple PCK, like a male, it will pass the purple trait on. Like it's one of those ones that passes the purple trait, and it's like a old ass strain. Like this isn't something like a modern like purple. This is a fucking old ass strain. But Pakistanis have a little bit thinner of a leaf. They can be, some of them can be taller. Still, yeah, there's too much little details to get into, but they basically have a more balanced effect. So with me taking this thing down like at least 7 days, like before I wanted to, because it got its stability issues, like pretty bad, right around maybe the 8-week mark. I took it down early. You know, you always hear those kind of rumors, and I can see how some of them can be true with the maturity of the trichome head. So I was expecting like a 60-40 or 70-30 like body dominant effect, and I got a 70-30 like head dominant effect, which like surprised the fuck out of me. Like I took a couple huge rips on my vape of this stuff last night. I sit down expecting to kind of relax and just like chill out, and the next thing I know, my mind is on like fucking hyper speed. So yeah, it was very surprising. Very surprising. But yeah, there's a bunch of certain terps, if you want us to talk certain terps, that give me like a up effect, you know. Usually citrus stuff, terpenoline stuff. Yeah, most sativas will have some terpenoline in them. Yeah, myrcene is also in the sativas as well. It's like second or third most common in like the majority of like commonly tested like cuts that go around that are sativas. But yeah, myrcene's usually the dominant in Afghan stuff, indica stuff. But yeah, I could talk all day about terpenes and effects and strains and shit like that. I wouldn't know where to begin. But you said you love the pine?
I do.
The pine terps gives you energy?
Man, it opens up my mind. It clears it out quite a bit, so I have that creative side.
Mm,
It opens up my lungs, so I can
yeah,
fucking breathe a
for
little
sure.
bit
For sure.
better.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just
For
an
sure.
overall good weed. Then it opens up the creative and the happy side, makes me feel good in my chest, and then I double up on that shit, and it's kind of not quite that pine strain that I remember, that laffy shit, but a couple of the good pine joints, and I'm really in that good mood. Kind of want to fucking mess around with fucking everybody that I bump into in a
Mm.
fun way. You know what I mean? Razz a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't run into too much pine stuff, especially like a pure pine, like only pine. I almost never run into that. I'll run into like pine stuff and a lot of like Kush and Kush hybrids is where I'll run into like most of the pine stuff. There's so many fucking OGs and OG hybrids, but that's where I usually see pine type of stuff. But maybe that would be crazy if you got to actually smoke like this old stuff. I think it's like from the 70s, or it's supposed to be called Christmas tree bud. You ever smoked that stuff?
Some Xmas in the house right
Yep.
now. Not
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah, that
tree,
one.
but at the Xmas.
Yeah, I wonder if you ever grew that or smoked that one, that particular one. CSI Humboldt still has them. He's had them up on the site forever, and I think it's a 21 pack of regulars that he gives out on those kind of things, like his Uzbekistani IBL, his PCK regulars, which I also have. But I grew the one I'm talking about was the Fem from Cannabiogen, which is where he gets his stock from. But yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, 21 seeds for like 120 pine bud, Christmas tree bud,
It's
and
a
he's got a
pretty good
bunch of
deal.
Christmas tree bud crosses too. I think he's got a couple, and they're regular seeds, which he almost, these days CSI's got almost like a 90% fems these days because that's all people want. But yeah, he's the man. He's probably one of my heroes. Honestly,
That's
I don't have sports heroes anymore. I have breeder heroes. That's the truth.
not a bad hero to have right there, man. So with
Yeah,
that being
yeah.
said, I mean, how do you feel about femmes or photos?
I have probably like 80% of my collection, which is maybe like, I don't know, 300 packs, maybe something like that right now. I've sold a lot. But it sucks. I lost all my fucking contacts. I used to sell my seeds to like 20 different people mainly, or you know what I mean? Anytime, because I'm seriously like check to check. And my seed collection, which is in my kitchen cabinet right over there, is like a little mini bank where if we need a check, if we need some money, you know what I mean? This shit's fucking legal. So yeah, if we need anything, we go to washing machine breaks. Like I can sell some of my fucking collection, but I just lost all those fucking contacts I had because my account got deleted. But yeah, probably 80% of my like couple hundred seed pack of seeds is regulars. Only like 20% is fems. And like I said, I got 2 small tents. Like that's all that I have room for. And if you saw the spots where my tents are, like you would be like, what the fuck? Like I have like a decent sized place, but with my kids and with the way my house is set up, like I have one photo period, one autoflower. My autoflower is down in like my basement, and it's because kids fuck with the lights all the time. So I can only have literally like 4 or 5 hours of where I know the lights are going to be out, or if I'm at work and they're home one day, that they're not going to run down the basement and flick the lights on. So my best fucking place for my photo period tent is in a tiny little fucking 40-year-old boiler room, like Freddy Krueger. I'm making buds down in the fucking boiler room. I'm the Freddy Krueger of fucking growing weed, bro. I'm in the boiler room with dirty pictures of your kids. Nah, just kidding. But yeah, I'm fucking locked in a fucking boiler room, like with a door that's like propped open, like praying that like someone doesn't put the bathroom light on like across the hall. So I'm fucking struggling with these like with like fighting stress just to like keep my photo period dark like every fucking day. Like veg is like heaven for me because I don't got to worry about this shit. But you got power outages. I just had I'm on day like 66 of flower or some shit like that. Maybe no later, more than that. And I've only had a couple plants left in my photo period. I got like my 2 like best looking plants were left. Like these were the ones that like they look the best. Like they look like these ones came out fucking perfect, and they're gonna be big yielders. They're gonna be huge. They're sticky. The terps are fucking sick on them. One's a fucking SFV cross dozy dough, which is like the only strain that I like from cookie shit, but it's a male, so it doesn't give barely any of the terps. That's all that it gives is tons of frost and color to the SFV, which I fucking love. It's like one of my favorite cushes. And my other plant was a sour diesel. It's a sour diesel times a sour diesel. So it's J Plant Speaker. You know that guy on Instagram? It's the cut that he grows like in his greenhouse that looks like sick every year. It's supposed to be a 20-year-old cut that he got out of New York, or at least 20 years old. This is the words from his mouth. So everyone just knows it as one of the better ones that's around, especially people who've grown like all the current like popular sour cuts. Because you don't even want to get into the sour diesel story. It's like it'll never fucking be unraveled. But anyways, it's a solid cut, and it's that times the Karma BX2 male, which is the Karma sour. In my opinion, is like the best sour that anyone's put into seed form. In at least like 10 years. I mean, Top Dog's got some good stuff. He's got all the good sours. He's got all the real sours. He's a legit dude. He's East Coast. But the Karma sour stuff, the BX2, the 3, his cross with Skittles, the Headbanger, like all those are legit. And those look like old school sour. Like those look and smell, even more important. But that seems to be when people want a good sour, they want the smell. Because everyone who's like a little bit older like me remembers the same thing happened to me, and it's happened to so many people. The first time I got fucking real sour diesel was like 2003. I think my brother brought it back from like a Fish concert, and 1 gram, literally, honest to God, I'm sure you've had a couple of these weed, like people, like younger kids today don't even believe that this is real. Like I've had so many people tell me like this can't be real. Like I've smoked all these different strains out today, the last 5 years, last 10 years. This is impossible. Like, they don't believe it about the Super Skunk and they don't believe it about the sour, but it's 100% true. 1 little gram inside double bags, inside of a hollowed out Bible, inside your bookcase, will stink up your whole fucking house. That's what everyone remembers about real sour diesel. Everyone wants that. What they don't understand, and, some people say this, but not many, is that all those cuts, some of them are still around. There used to be only one cut. Then it transformed into a whole bunch of shit that went on with people renaming things because everyone wanted it. Oh, I gotta end it there, Eagle.
Yeah.
I got a little small visitor coming towards me. All right, hold on.
All right, man. All right, I got you.
I gotta end it there, Eagle, but I'll message you.
Well, we'll do this again soon, man.
All right. 1 second. All right,
Thanks,
Eagle. Have
man.
a good night.
I appreciate it.
Sorry to cut out early. I gotta go. All right, bro.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it very much. We're gonna have to do a follow up with him. Very much appreciate this, man. Yeah, I was waiting to see if he was checking out for sure or checking out for a second. Yeah, take care of some dad duties, and you have to respect that. You got to take care of the kiddies, man. You got to take care of the kiddies. So I'm more than willing to do a follow up episode with plant based Massey Kyle, who is yeah, it is what it is. We'll get that sound bite. We'll get another chance at it. It is what it is. We'll get him back at minimum in a wormhole. If I have to, I'll tell him in a message, in a DM, how that shit works, right? I give him mass props though for putting family first. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool in my book. Well, with that being said, you guys know the deal. If you guys want, I will fire up the hole, but I don't know how much I will participate. I do still have a shitload of work to do, but I can at least hang out for a little bit, get her going. I'll see you guys in a bit. You guys hopefully know the deal. If you're not going to follow over into the wormhole, please do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives. I'm a living, breathing example of that. I'll see you guys in a few minutes in the wormhole. Load up that tray, go to the bathroom. I'll see you in a few. Thank you for watching.